Okay, against this backdrop, the Senate Republicans blocked action on financial reform legislation for the second day in a row. The vote 57 to 41. They were 3 votes short. So the question is, what would you enact? President Moore? No, King Moore. What's your reading?
Well, King Moore would mean that you and I have a special relationship.
No, but what would you do? Let that slide.
Okay. Well, what I would do is, first of all, in order to prevent the next crash, we have to take care of too big to fail. These banks are too big. They have to be broken up. So there's a bill that's being proposed by Senator Sherrod Brown from Ohio and Ted Kaufman from Delaware. And it's called the Safe Banking Act of 2010. And this is the bill everybody watching should get behind, call their member of Congress to support the Brown-Kaufman Safe Banking Act.
In effect would say,
what this will do is it will put a cap on the size of these financial institutions. And it will essentially allow for them to be broken up. So instead of these 6 large banks, you could have 20 or 30 or 40 different financial institutions.
How would that help things?
Well, because then nobody is too big to fail. That's one of the problems that caused the crash. I mean, it's essentially, you know, they were talking about the FDIC today. When a community bank, when a smaller bank fails, the FDIC comes in, and in addition to protecting everybody's money in there, they figure out what parts of the bank are making money, what parts aren't, and they sell off different parts of the bank's assets to other banks or individuals or institutions or whatever. And so, I mean, I think that's, but for me, this is like getting into the weeds a bit, because I think that there's a larger problem here. Which is an economic system that is still rigged to benefit the few at the top, while everyone else struggles to make it from paycheck to paycheck. That's if they have a job. And where I come from in Michigan,
are you a socialist?
We've got, well, no, I'm an American, I think.
Favoring what political system?
Favoring the democratic, that's what I mean. I'm an American. I favor democracy.
Well, the democracy says I can rise to the top and I can make more money than you.
No, well, to me, a democracy means that everybody has a seat at the table. And the rich man at the table doesn't take 9 slices of the pie and leave 1 slice for the other 9 people at the table. Democracy means everybody has a piece of that pie.
Are you saying the Goldman Sachses are bad for the economy?
Yes.
As entities?
And not just them. I mean, anything that says we can never find ourselves in the situation again where an institution says if we fail, our entire economy is going to collapse.
As General Motors goes, so goes the country.
That has to stop, because that puts all of us at risk. And a lot of people, a lot of everyday people and their pension funds lost a lot of money.
All right. The SEC has filed suit against Goldman Sachs, accusing the firm of defrauding customers in connection with the sale of a complex mortgage investment. That's what I meant by mortgages. Named in that suit is trader Fabrice Touré, now on paid leave from Goldman. Touré defended himself vigorously in today's Senate testimony. Watch.
Mr. Chairman, as you know, the Securities and Exchange Commission recently filed a civil suit alleging that I failed to disclose to investors certain material information regarding a transaction that I helped to structure named Abacus 07AC1. I deny categorically the SEC's allegations, and I will defend myself in court against this false claim.
What's your read on him?
Well, I mean, going after a guy named Fabrice, I mean, come on. You know, it's just like in junior high. I mean, essentially, they've singled out the Frenchman. They've singled out him as the scapegoat for all of this. There's a lot of fingers that were in that pie.
Help me. Were they investing in mortgages that they knew the people weren't going to make the payments on the mortgage, and they asked their investors to invest with them, even though they knew they defaulted? And as time went on, as they saw in 06 and 07 that things were getting pretty shaky, they started doing much more betting against these mortgage investments. All this is alleged. They're denying a lot of this, right?
Well, I think they've denied everything, or sort of denied it today in front of the committee. But I think, look, it's not just this one guy. It's not just Goldman Sachs. There's a lot of people and a lot of companies are at fault here. And I think just to make one guy the scapegoat, I don't think that's really the right thing.
Back with more of Michael Moore tomorrow night. Might have another opinion from Donald Trump. Don't go away.
Wish we could have done better in hindsight, but at the times that we made the decisions, I didn't think we did anything wrong.
We're back with Michael Moore. Congresswoman Marcy Kaptur of Ohio, a number of other House Democrats are calling for a criminal investigation of Goldman Sachs. Would you go that far?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm happy the Obama administration brought these civil charges against them, but I think there should be a criminal investigation. A lot of people's money vaporized, and I think when that happens, I mean, I'll tell you, we spend a lot of energy in our criminal justice system going after people that stick you up for $100. I think the American people got stuck up for a hell of a lot more than that.
Goldman Sachs PAC people were big contributors to Obama, weren't they?
They were his #1 private contributor, almost $1 million.
So did this take some chutzpah on his part?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and
he had to sign off, I assume.
Yeah, but of course, it's like a lot of things with the administration. You know, their heart's in the right place, and they go about 60% of the way, but they don't take that other 40%, which in this case would mean a criminal investigation also of Goldman Sachs.
Goldman Sachs is one of the targets in your documentary, Capitalism, a Love Story. Here's a clip.
The Treasury Department. It's basically an arm of Wall Street. All the people in charge were from Goldman Sachs.
We call it Government Goldman in the modern era.
That's because there were now numerous former Goldman executives inside the Bush Treasury Department, as there were under Clinton. They worked as powerful lobbyists from the inside to abolish financial regulations while we paid their salaries.
You hate Wall Street?
I hate the fact that a company like Goldman Sachs can essentially run our government. The former CEO of Goldman Sachs becomes Clinton's Secretary of the Treasury. A former CEO of Goldman Sachs, a different man, becomes the Treasury Secretary under George W. Bush. Bush had about 12 Goldman executives. Obama has 3 of them. Timothy Geithner's chief assistant is a former Goldman guy, as is the Undersecretary of State for Economic Affairs. There's a revolving door. As Senator Levin said, the lobbyists are out in the hallway right now. They're spending tens of millions of dollars to stop this banking legislation.
How do you react, Michael, when people say, this is a system, though, that did pretty good by you?
Well, Walt, I don't own a single share of stock, and I never have.
So you've made money in a comfortable system, right?
No, I've made money because I worked and I had a few ideas and I made films about them, and I've done well, as I would do under a system that was more democratically organized, so that not so many people had to suffer, so that others could do so well.
Are we down to one word here, greed?
That's what it is. It is greed. And capitalism has become organized greed. I think Adam Smith and the people who originated capitalism would be very upset at what it has become. And it's become a cover to protect that upper 1% that now has more financial wealth than the bottom 95% in our society.
Arizona's new immigration law. We can't wait to talk to Michael about it, and we will next.